everyone, it's been a long time. Grandmaster Ben Finegold. I've been busy, didn't feel like recording. I had stuff to do, I had naps to take. House of Cards new season started. What am I on now? Episode 9 of the new season. I guess there's 13 episodes. So, yeah, great show. Probably too advanced for you at home. There's probably some cartoon on for children that you like. Not the cartoons I like. You know. Anyway, I noticed recently that Wonder Liang and Sam Sevian have had good results in St. Louis and Chicago, respectively. And Wonder just got his last norm. Sevian won his group in St. Louis in the double round robin, actually. And he won the Chicago Open, clear first. Now, I've played Sam Sevian a few times. First time I played him, I won. The second time I played him, he won. And the third time was a draw. But I could be confusing the draw and the loss I had. It could be that I drew and then I lost. I think I lost and then I drew. Anyway, well, I can't beat him anymore, but I did beat him in 2013 because he was a lot younger then. I was probably a little bit better than him in 2013. Probably 2014 he was better than me, but it's close. Okay, let's have a look at the game. It was played at the Spice Cup in St. Louis, actually, and I was white. And he played Slav defense. I don't think he plays the Slav now, but 2013 was 4 years ago, and so he was probably about 12, I guess. Maybe he was 13. And I played the exchange variation, which I often do against certain people. If they're sharp players or they're really young and I want to get a boring position. And I played E3, and actually I learned the move E3 from Webster Grandmaster Andre Diamant. See, I remember his name. You thought I wouldn't remember his name, but I did. He played E3 against me, and the idea is to quickly play bishop to B5 and knight E5 and queen A4 and start attacking the C6 knight as quickly as possible. I mean, it's sort of boring E3. The idea is you want black to put his bishop out to F5 or G4 so that when you start, pinning this knight and putting pressure, the bishop is really misplaced out there. Now, when Diamant played E3 against me, I played E6, which is symmetrical and sort of boring. We had a quick draw like we always do. Okay, so Sam played A6, which stops bishop B5, obviously. And I played knight E5, try to take advantage of A6 being slow. E6 and F4. So, I mean, white probably has a tiny advantage, but I'm taking him out of his preparation, and the game's sort of boring. So, I guess advantage me. Bishop B4, which I normally don't like playing bishop B4 in a lot of queen-pawn openings. If you're not, if you're going to trade for the knight, you're giving white the two bishops and the dark squares. If you're not going to take the knight, then why is your bishop on B4? So I'm not a big fan of that move. Bishop to D3, knight E4, trying to take advantage. I took the knight, and I castled. And now it seems like even though I've given up the two bishops and my white square bishop is gone, he has a lot of issues that are very concrete. I can mess up his pawn structure by taking on C6. I can try to take the pawn on E4. He hasn't castled yet. His bishop on C8 isn't very good. So I'm taking advantage of the fact that he played A6 and then played really aggressively, bishop B4, knight E4, by not really defending my knight on C3, but just quickly castling and trying to take advantage of his weak pawn and his potential weak pawn on C6 and A6. At some point in this game, I offered a draw pretty early. It might have been around here. And he declined, which is one of the reasons I offer a draw. And then psychologically, it's, I think, hard to play with black when you're trying to win, but you're not better, and you can't really do anything to equalize. It's really weird when you turn a draw offer down, especially when you're the low-rated player and you don't have an advantage, because you're not really playing for equality. And I guess the best thing to do is just to play chess. And of course, somebody who's his age and his rating needs to never take a draw and just play and get better. So it's good that he turned down the draw. Fortunately, very soon after, he offered me a draw back because this position was, I guess, slightly worse. But you only get one chance. I mean, if you're a low-rated player and I offer you a draw, maybe it's because I'm not feeling well, or there's 2 games a day and I don't want to play 8 or 9 hours a day, or there's a baseball game on. But if you're turning down the draw, then you're just going to lose. So, okay, well, he learned the hard way. Okay, he took the knight. Of course, if he doesn't want to take the knight, he'd like to have the 2 bishops. The only way to defend the pawn on e4 is to play f5, and then I guess queen h5 just wins, so you can't do that. So, okay, if he wants to save his e-pawn, he has to take, and I take. On c6, a little Zwischenzug before taking the bishop, and he played pawn takes, and then I took a bishop on c3, so maybe it was around here he offered a draw, but even though bishops are opposite colors, I have 1 isolated pawn, he has 2 isolated pawns, and in the long run, my bishop can get to pretty reasonable diagonals and squares, and his bishop can't. The other issue is if I attack his pawn on e4 and he plays f5, sometimes my bishop can get to e5 then, and I'll have a really nice bishop in the center. So basically I have the better bishop, I have the better pawn structure. My opponent hasn't moved anything yet. His pieces are all in the original squares. So it's just a nice advantage to white. It's really unfortunate because there's types of positions that different people like, and this is a competition I like because it's boring. I have very few losing chances. There's not a lot of counterplay for my opponent. I don't have to calculate a lot of variations. I just have to find what my ideas are, what his ideas are, and play like that. And I'm pretty good at that. Sometimes I make calculation mistakes and hang things or miss things, but that's hard to do here. So I'm a higher rated player at this point. I have an advantage. I have a competition I like, so that's not good for Sam. Okay, he played queen a5, which prevents my bishop from going to a3, trying to keep my bishop bad. Queen c2. He did defend his e-pawn, and I played a4. This is actually reminiscent of a French defense because a lot of times in the Winnower variation, black's bishop on c8 is terrible, and white, who's usually played a3 in the Winnower to attack the bishop on b4, then plays a4 at some point to play bishop a3, like I just did. Although my pawn wasn't on a3, it was on a2, so I didn't lose a tempo. And it's very important to get my bishop active, and so bishop a3 is basically unstoppable now. Okay, a4, he played queen back to c7, and I played a5. Yeah, black wants to play a5, which would not only fix my pawn on a white square, so I can't go forward, but more importantly, his bishop wants to go to a6. And with his queen on a5, he really can't get his bishop anywhere. So queen c7, the idea is to play a5 and play bishop a6, just like I played a4, bishop a3, but okay, a5 stops that. King f7. It doesn't really matter where his king is. I don't really have an attack on his king. Bishop a3, and he took my pawn. I guess if you're going to be worse, you might as well have a pawn. Have a pawn and be worse. So, yeah, it's no big deal one way or the other. I'm not really concerned about his a-pawn. Okay, so I got my bishop to e5, as I explained that I would. Played a5 to get his bishop out. c4. And queen c3. Queen c3 has a couple of ideas. Obviously, I'm keeping an eye on the a-pawn, which makes bishop a6 hard to play, because I have a couple of guys on that. And my queen and bishop have a battery over here, too. So someday, d5 might be a good move. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday and soon. Okay, is this my game with Capablanca, or is that Casablanca? All right, that joke's too complicated for you. All right, so a4 was played. Makes sense. a5 pawn was attacked. And I played rook to b1, activating my only inactive piece. Again, I don't really care about his a-pawn. I can take him whenever I want. It's not going to queen. My bishop's better than his. I have the b-file. I have a better center. King's probably safer. So. Okay, queen a7, defense. Rook a3, blocking his pawn. Rook to d8. And c5. c5 was a hard move to play because I can't really move my pawns anymore, and I'm fixing all my pawns in the same color as my bishop. But I wanted to fix all of his pawns on white squares to make sure his bishop could never get any good. And the pawn on c5 really gives me an anchor for all these other moves I can make. So c5 made sense. Rook d7, h3. I'm basically winning on the queen side, so I want my king to have luft, and if necessary, I'll play g4 later, if necessary. Rook b7, rook a1. You don't want to trade when you have more space. You want to keep your opponent cramped. Queen a5, and then I traded. Haha, I tricked you at home. Yeah, basically, he was getting the b file. He was activating his queen. He was getting counterplay, so we had to put an end to that. I won my pawn back, and as you can see, black doesn't really have any good chances because of his bad bishop on c8. He could play rook b1 check because it's a cute move, but we trade rooks this way, so that's not really a big deal. He traded on a4 instead, and played king e8, and I played rook a3, defending my e-pawn, so my king can run around. And I moved my king around. So I figure I'll try to get my king in over here, and he played h6, and I'm like, all right, can't get my king in over there. So we went back to the other side of the board, the queen side. And black can't really do anything. And I play bishop g7, attacking the pawn on h6. If he takes the bishop and I take, he obviously can't defend his pawns. If he plays king f6 or king f7, I play rook c8. So that would lose. So he didn't take my bishop, but he can't let me take his pawn on h6, so he played h5. And now my king can get in on the king side, so that's what I did. I moved my bishop around a lot, and then I put my king over to the king side again. Okay, hooray. All right, then I played h4. I decided if I played king g3 with the obvious idea of walking my king in Nigel Short style, he could play g5, and again he could get some counterplay, and the point of the game was no counterplay. So I played h4. And you have to notice I'm not in a hurry, especially against a young player, but I'm just not in a hurry anyway. So I decided to walk it on the king side, and I couldn't. Then I decided to go to the queen side, and I couldn't. Then I went back to the king side, and I was worried about g5. And now I decided to go to the queen side again because I have the b file blocked with my bishop on b6, and I have the a file, so I can walk up the king. I can walk up with my king. So I did. And again, black can't really do anything. g3. And g3 is a funny move. I didn't want my opponent to get counterplay with g5. And then whichever way I take, he can just keep moving his pawns and moving his king forward. So I thought if I played g3, I would dissuade that. That way, if he does play g5, I could ignore it or I could take it. But I figured he wouldn't play g5 after g3. And I was right. And I attacked his pawn. He defended it. And yeah, I'm going to play bishop d6 check here. And again, if he takes my bishop, I take his bishop, and I should win the rook and pawn ending. And that's what would have happened. But if he doesn't do that, I'm going to win very easily with the move bishop d6, and his rook is trapped, and my king just walks in. There's no counterplay for black, so he took. He defended his pawn, but he can't defend his g-pawn. And I checked, forcing his king to the back row. And if he goes to either e8 or f8, then I play rook c7, and he can't defend his c-pawn. C-pawn's the pawn that I want, then I can get it past c-pawn. So he stopped that. Okay, move my king in because his rook is trapped. I don't really care about his g6 pawn. I just want to play king b6, king takes pawn. And I guess in a lot of grandmaster games, even a grandmaster as weak as me, if I was playing most players over 2100, when I say most, I mean 90% or more, they would resign here or in the next 4 or 5 moves. I don't know why Sam didn't resign, because he played on way too long, but that's okay. I don't really mind if people don't resign. That's fine. He played king e8, king b6. Again, he can resign any move here. Everybody's probably wondering why I don't take this pawn. I don't care about that pawn. I care about my rook being on the 7th rank and his king being stuck on the back rank. Okay. And eventually I took all of his pawns. That seemed like a good idea. And now I just went to the easily winning king and pawn ending. I could take on c6 and win. It's very strange not to resign here, but okay. It's getting really strange now. Yeah. And after king c6 he resigned. I'm not sure why he chose this time. But okay, I don't really mind. People don't resign. So this was the only game I'll ever beat Sam Sevian in a slow game. I beat him in Blitz chess. I think we played Blitz when he was 10 or 11. As most of you know, Sam has a very famous video where when he was 9 or 10, he beat Greg Shahade in a Blitz game. And it has over 1 million views. It's one of the most famous chess YouTube videos. I'm not sure why that's a big deal, but I guess if he lost to Greg Shahade, that should have 1 million views. I'm sure none of you have ever lost to Greg Shahade at home, so I've never seen Greg Shahade win a game, so I'm sort of confused. But anyway, Sam's a great player, and he's one of the top 10 players in the U.S. now. And we have a lot of good junior players like Jeffrey Zhang and Wonder Liang and Akshat Chandra, and I'm probably missing a few. But we have a lot of really strong junior players in the U.S. And the U.S. Junior Championship is going to be held at the Chess Club in St. Louis in July. And they're actually having the U.S. Junior Girls Championship, another closed tournament, at the same time at the same place. And I'll be doing commentary for the Chess Club. And I believe, unlike most other events, I'll actually be on the internet this time. Normally for the junior, I do live commentary on the internet, so you can watch the games live and actually hear me. Normally when I do the Sinkfield Cup or U.S. Championship, I'm at Kingside Diner and you have to show up. But this time you can just watch on the internet, so you can wear even less clothes than this. Just make sure I can't see you. A lot of you have wondered why I haven't made videos lately. I gave some excuses at the beginning, but I forgot what they were. But actually, I have been making videos. I make videos for chess.com now. I'll be making 2 per month, maybe some special videos too. And in fact, if you went to the Super Nationals, and a lot of you did, I was doing game analysis for chesskid.com in the big Skittles room they had. I was there 4 hours a day for 3 days. I'm busy with my chess center, of course, atlchessclub.com and atlchessclub.com/donate. It's never too late to donate. And remember, no donation is too large. We're starting to build out the center. We need some construction done. We bought our chess sets. We need some clocks. And we're going to open September 9th. Please visit the website. Please consider a donation. And if you want to see some of my videos over the last month or two, other than with this channel, of course, go to chessclub.com. Chessclub.com? Scratch that. Go to chess.com. So many websites nowadays. And if you're a Diamond member, you can see my video. I made several. And if you're not a Diamond member, you can watch like the first, 3 minutes, and then they tell you to pay. I don't know. I think after watching 3 minutes, that's enough anyway. So, and there'll be some more videos throughout the coming weeks on chess.com. I'll be making more videos here. I just got an Instagram page. I don't know how Instagram works, but you have to have Instagram. And our chess club is actually going to have a YouTube page also that's going to have a different kind of format than this one. So that's probably going to start in September when our club opens, but we'll see. Okay, so until next time, guys, like and subscribe here, and hope this video quality is okay. I was having some trouble at the beginning, but I mean, what do I care? Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.